Hi everyone, I'm Linda. Today I'm gonna read Little House in a Big Wood from page 14 to page 18. It was such a busy day with so much to see and do. Uncle Henry and Pa were jolly, and there would be spare ribs for dinner. And Pa had promised Laura and Mary the bladder and the pig's tail. As soon as the hog was dead, Pa and Uncle Henry lifted it up and down in the boiling water till it was well scalded. Then they laid it on a board and scraped it with the knives, and all the bristles came off. After that, they hung the hog in a tree, took out the insides, and left it hanging to cool. When it was cool, they took it down and cut it up. There were hams and shoulders, side meat, and spare ribs and belly. There was the heart and the liver and the tongue and the head to be made into hatches, and the dishpan full of meat to be made into sausage. The meat was laid on a board in a black door shed, and every piece was sprinkled with salt. The hams and the shoulders were put into pickle and brine, for they would be smoked, like the venison in the hollow log. You can't beat hickory-cured ham, Pa said. He was blowing up the bladder. It made a little white balloon, and he tied the end tight with a string and gave it to Mary and Laura to play with. They could throw it into the air and spat it back and forth with their hands, or it would bounce along the ground, and they could kick it. But even better fun than a balloon was a pigtail. Pa skinned it for them carefully, and into the large end he thrust a sharpened stick. Ma opened the front of the cook-stove and raked hot coals out into the iron hearth. And Laura and Mary took turns holding the pig's tail over the coals. It sizzled and fried, and drops of fat dripped off it and blazed on the coals. Ma sprinkled it with salt. The hands and the faces got very hot, and Laura burned her finger, but she was so excited she did not care. Roasting the pig's tail was such fun that it was hard to play fair, taking turns. At last it was done. It was nicely browned all over, and how good it smelled! They carried it into the yard to cool it, and even before it was cool enough, they began tasting it and burned the tongue. They ate every little bit of meat off the bones, then they gave the bones to Jack. And that was the end of the pig's tale. There would not be another one till next year. Uncle Henry went home after dinner, and Pa went away to his work in the big woods. But for Laura and Mary and Ma, butchering time had only begun. There was a great deal for Ma to do, and Laura and Mary helped her all day and night. Ma was trying out the lard in big iron pots on the cook stove. Laura and Mary carried the wood and watched the fire. It must be hot, but not too hot, or the lard would burn. The big pots shimmered and boiled, but they must not smoke. From time to time, Ma skimmed out brown cracklings. She put them in a cloth and squeezed out every bit of the lard, and then she put the cracklings away. She would use them to flavor Johnny cake later. Cracklings were very good to eat, but Laura and Mary could have only a taste. They were too rich for little girls. Ma said. Ma scraped and cleaned the head carefully, and then she boiled it till all the meat fell off the bones. She chopped the meat fine with her chopping knife in a wooden bowl. She seasoned it with pepper and salt and spices. Then she mixed the pot liquor with it and set it away in a pan to cool. When it was cool, it was cut in slices, and that was hatches. Little pieces of meat, lean and fat, that had been cut off the large pieces. Ma chopped and chopped until it was all chopped fine. She seasoned it with salt and pepper and with bright sage leaves from the garden. Then, with her hands, she tossed and turned it until it was well mixed, and she molded it into balls. She put the balls in a pan out in the shade, where they would freeze and be good to eat all winter. That was the sausage. When maturing time was over, there were the sausages and the hatches, the big jars of lard, and the cake of white salted pork out in the shed, and in the attic hung the smoked hams and shoulders. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.